So my name is Grace, as I mentioned before, and I represent Florence University Arts, American University of Florence. And it's a pleasure for me to be here today to quickly take you on a brief virtual tour of the programs that we offer in Florence and obviously show you some great city views and campus views as well. So first and foremost, just to kind of localize where we are. So we are located in Florence, hence the name of our institution. And to give you a sense of kind of the geography of where we are, we're right there in central Italy. So if you think about the boot, Italy's, the peninsula of Italy being a big boot, we're right there at the middle. We're a little bit smaller than Milan and Rome, Rome being the political capital, of course, and Milan being the economic powerhouse of Italy. Florence is one of the more mid-sized, larger cities in Italy, but we're really a cultural capital for Italy. So much has happened here in terms of not just the Renaissance, but innovation and science and the arts in so many different fields. And so a really great advantage of being in Florence for a program of study is to also be able to directly experience some of the things that you are going through in a textbook, let's say. It's a beautiful city. The photo that you see on your left on the screen is a simple aerial view of the city center. And so everything that we do in Florence is located in the historic city center in terms of our campus buildings, as well as all our student housing. One thing I always like to mention is that we are very much of a city campus. And so instead of having one big blocked off campus in the city, which we cannot do because of how historic all the buildings are, we have our campus locations in various buildings in the historic city of center of Florence.
Okay.
And one thing that is really important for us to share with all incoming students is how unique our educational model is. And so, of course, as an academic institution, academics is our priority. But what we really, really like to emphasize is how learning can be how learning can be supported by three key principles that really are representative of our institutional mission, but really boil down into three key points. And so our end goal for students is always cultural integration. How do we get there? We do that through community engagement, and the specific tool for that is through experiential learning. So this graph that you see here, this visual that you see here, is really our mission boiled down into a visual representation. So to give you an example, if you see the institution at the center here, and then this first ring is all of our academic divisions. You'll notice that each division has its own project, this third ring. So some of the immediate examples that we always like to share are how our fashion studies have their own retail store that features local emerging designers. We also have student creations. And then if we go over to Apicius, which is our hospitality division, to give you another immediate example, its community projects are a school spa, our bed and breakfast, our restaurant, our two restaurants that we have. So what is the purpose of these community projects? They're not places where students do internships, but they're really creative learning labs where as students are learning and putting their learning into practice, they share the results with the local community. And so moving throughout the entire institution in our divisions, every single division has what we call a community project so that we maintain that idea of studying, not just in a classroom, but through your studies, you're putting your studies in practice and you're also sharing your results with the local community. That's really important to our learning model here at FUA. In terms of program advantages, so we just talked about the unique learning model. We also have very flexible ways for you to be able to study abroad throughout the academic year. We have our fall and spring semesters. We have a variety of summer sessions that are of different lengths, anywhere from 3 to 12 weeks. We have an incredible breadth and diversity of our course offerings. And so our classes really go from hospitality to the arts and sciences to our business courses, digital media, fashion studies, which also include fashion business, our J School, and obviously, due to our location here in Florence, Italy, we have a wonderful Department of Italian Language and Cultural Studies. I mentioned before that obviously as an institution, academics are our priority. However, another equally important priority for us obviously has to do with the area of student services in terms of providing those immediate direct forms of support to students, whether it's our 24/7 emergency line, assistance with housing, housing maintenance, counseling services, advising sessions, and all those good services. But also we pour a lot of energy and efforts and resources into creating extracurricular opportunities and clubs for students to be able to join, no matter what time of the year you're with us. You may be curious a little bit about what our campus actually looks like. And so I'm going to literally walk you through a couple of our locations. This is one of our campus locations close to the river. So Florence, like many European and also US cities, is divided in half by a main river. Ours is called the Arno. And so this is our Corso Tintori campus, where we have a lot of our digital media and journalism studies taking place. And we have this beautiful palm tree right in the middle. It's kind of become an institutional mascot for us. And here you see the same view of the campus, but from the other side of the river. Okay, so it's exactly what it looks like from the opposite side. Within this building, we have our main library space for more quieter studies. And we have some really interesting classrooms. And so this is a classroom. It used to be a ballroom a couple of centuries ago when the original family was in the building. We decided to maintain the festive atmosphere. However, we really wanted to put in a modular and also interactive way of being in the classroom and not just have the lecturer looking at you from the front and lecturing to you from one fixed point or position in the classroom, but a more dynamic space where you're interacting with one another, your classmates, as well as your faculty member. Here we have simply the building entrance, and then we transition over just to give you another campus view. And we have several different locations, but we really wanted to highlight on this second location in particular, our building where we have our hospitality studies, where we have some other really unique classrooms. And so this is a classroom where a lot of our wine and culture take places. Some students do end up taking wine courses to fulfill, let's say, cultural studies or sociology requirements, because wine is so much tied with regional diversity here in Italy. And so this classroom actually is outfitted with these really interesting desks that also have these automated sinks within the desk itself for the professional wine tasting approaches to some of these courses. And then this is also a classroom too. We have a sports department, sports and dance actually, in two different departments. And so some students actually work with their faculty members for yoga and Pilates courses that are for credit. Some of our dance performance courses take place in a space like this as well. And then here we have some views of some of those community projects that I had shared with you earlier. And so this is our pastry shop and bistro, one of our two restaurant spaces within our hospitality building. This is our student operated spa for our spa and hospitality studies. And then we also have a restaurant, which is the creative learning lab of our culinary arts students. And so I like to share these three in particular. And even if your personal studies or major or academic background have nothing to do with hospitality at all, it's important to give you a visual of these spaces, because as an FUA study abroad student and being in FUA housing, you'll also have a partial meal plan. So you have basically a system of points that you can use either on a weekly basis, or you can distribute them as you wish throughout the semester. And so these points can be used at any of these three spaces, including the spa as well. So I wanted to just give you a little taste of how our community engagement projects also directly benefit students through something like housing itself. So